Fit in 10 Nation, it is day 20 of the challenge. We're out of the teens and moving right along, almost wrapped up the first 3 weeks of the challenge, 30% in, and I just, I keep reminding you guys only because, as I told you before we know it, the middle point will be here, and then soon enough, the end. Okay, so take advantage every single day. That's what this is about. I'm going to say it again. It's about being reasonable and consistent every single day. It's not about extreme measures, okay? All right, if you did not send me your feedback, people are sending me this question. I've had it from a number of you. I'm late sending my feedback. Should I still send it in? Yes, still send in your feedback. I don't care if it's the middle of the week, okay? Or it's nearing your next feedback, okay? So you're like two feedbacks behind almost. I don't care. Send it in to me, okay? But I would ideally like to get it at the end of the week, okay, on Sunday evening. All right. Also, I've had about, I think 4, maybe 5 of you say, I didn't get my numbers, my new macros. I don't know what's up this week. I did check with one person who said they didn't get them, and we went through his mail, and it was sitting in his junk mail. All right, so the rest of you, there's a couple of you, I resent them to you, but check your junk mail. Check your junk, check your spam. Just go through your entire mail. Make sure that you in fact didn't receive it, okay? Because I could resend it to you and it might just go back into your junk, okay? Or spam or whatnot, all right? Okay, what do I mean about energy inefficiency? Okay, this is going back a couple days ago when I talked about why you want to have a sufficient amount of calories, or why it's in your interest to have a sufficient amount of calories for long-term fat loss, for long-term weight management. And I talked about energy inefficiency, and somebody wrote me and said, I thought energy inefficiency was bad. Okay, so of course we have to talk about the context. If we were talking about energy inefficiency for survival, that would be terrible, right? If we are trying to survive and we don't have access to food, we would want the body to be energy efficient. We would want the body to expend very little energy. If we expend very little energy, we are more energy efficient, right? We don't require a lot of energy to sustain us. That would be energy efficient, right? So energy inefficient means the opposite. It means our bodies require the maximum amount of energy or a higher amount of energy to sustain us. And this is what we want for weight loss, right? We want the body to go through a lot of calories. We want the body to have to go through a lot of energy. That means you are energy inefficient. You don't use energy well. You're going through it. You're going through a lot just to sustain you, okay? That's energy inefficient. So that's what I mean, okay? So if that still doesn't make sense to you, let me know. Baking powder and baking soda, are they okay to use? Yes, they're totally fine. Totally fine, all right? So go ahead and use them. By the way, baking powder and baking soda are almost the same thing, okay? One's just, they're basically, it's just sodium bicarbonate, and they are they're both virtually calorie-less. One of them has an acid added to it, the other one doesn't, okay? That's the only difference. So go ahead and use them. I think it's the baking, I can't remember which one. Hold on, I think I have some notes on it here. Okay, so the baking soda's got 0 calories. The baking powder, which is just baking soda with an acid added to it, has got a very tiny amount of calories. It's got basically 4 calories per teaspoon, okay? 1 gram of carbohydrate. All right, so basically nothing. Go ahead and use it. All right, somebody had mentioned that they can't, or they find lunges really hard and they feel that they need to strengthen the muscles to help them be stronger with the lunges. All right, so so that's not a bad idea, by the way, okay? But what you can do is when it comes to performing a lunge, you can just not come down as far. Okay? Just don't come down as far. Do partial lunges, okay? Even quarter lunges. And then through time, try to increase your range of motion, okay? Your depth on those, okay? And you will get stronger over time. You don't necessarily have to go and try to strengthen your legs on other movements in order to do lunges. Although lunges have the downfall with lunges is that you're already set with a certain amount of weight, right? Because you've got body weight that you have to carry. So if you happen to be a heavier set person, then already you are at a disadvantage when you're lunging, or I shouldn't say disadvantage. It's harder for you because you have to lunge more weight, right? So we can't really control that amount of weight like we can with, I don't know, a chest press where we just put weight on the bar, right? We have full control over the amount of weight we use. Lunges we don't, so I can understand from this point of view. But if we want to work on this, just let's work on getting more and more depth over time. Start shallow and then increase that range of motion, okay? Trying to get deeper and deeper. All right. Okay, well, I already talked about this briefly yesterday regarding cholesterol, right? Is dietary cholesterol bad? Somebody asked me, do eggs increase cholesterol? So I kind of already answered this. So egg consumption or any dietary cholesterol should not increase your cholesterol. Okay, again, we tend to see that it's overall caloric intake that raises your cholesterol, generally speaking. And I also mentioned yesterday that I don't think cholesterol is an issue. And I'm not the only one, okay? There are many people in the area of research. Okay, so forget about medical doctors, and I'm not discounting what medical doctors have to say, okay? But people who are actually in the trenches doing the research, they are right down to the nitty-gritty and doing research and saying, hey, this actually really may not be an issue, okay? It's amazing, not to go off on a tangent here, but there are actually many things that it's like a narrative was created for many things at some point in time, and that narrative just got repeated. And it just turned out not to be true, okay? Saturated fat is a perfect example of that, okay? So if you go back, and I won't go into it today, but if you go back and you look at Ansel Keys and saturated fat and how he sort of mismanaged the data and made saturated fat look bad, and then it just got promoted and repeated and repeated and repeated, and then it just became fact, right? It just became fact, but it actually turns out that's not true. And we now know that that is not true, okay? So just be aware of these things. It's always important to keep an open mind, okay? Keep an open mind. That's not to say you can't be confident in something, but keep an open mind. All right, let's get to the message of the day. Message of the day. All right, here we go. The difference between who you are and who you want to be lies in what you do, okay? The difference between who you are and who you want to be simply lies in what you do, all right? So I'm assuming a lot of you are in this challenge to reduce your body fat. So really what stands between you in the beginning and the, let's call it the hopeful you in the end, the changed you, is just what you do. You have full control over it, okay? I'm not saying it's easy, but you have full control over it. Which, by the way, I know a lot of you are still not getting your numbers, and you're asking me, what happens if I'm not with my numbers, and I'll talk a little bit more about this tomorrow. But the idea here is that this is not a talent, right? This is just something you plan and execute. If you seriously can't figure it out, like you just don't know how to figure it out, that's different, okay? Let me know and I can help you with that. But, this is just execution. Like you've heard me say this before. It's just plan it out and then follow through and do it, okay? I give you the directions. Don't try to ask me. Okay, well, you can if you want. But a lot of people are asking me, well, what happens if I change the directions and I turn here instead of where you told me, and I go up this way and I turn around this way? Is there going to be any difference? Okay, it's just try to keep to the directions that I gave you. Okay. All right. So just plan and execute. The difference in who you want to be, the difference in who you are and who you want to be, just simply lies in what you do. So just do what I told you to do. Okay. And you'll be happy. I think you'll be happy. I'm sure you will be. We wouldn't be running our 12th challenge if that weren't the case, okay? Positive energy, positive vibes. Believe in yourself, and for the love of God, for the love of God, or whatever you believe in, if you believe in God, okay? Or just for the love of humanity, for the love of yourself, give some gratitude. Give some gratitude. I'll talk to you guys all soon, okay? See you guys. Clicker should be working here. Okay, I'm not sure what's wrong with this thing. Come on, clicker.